wish every single day that this was a nightmare that I could just wake up from.
Demolition has begun on Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School 6 years after the Parkland school shooting that shocked the nation.
What happened to my family now shapes every second of my life.
All this nearly 2 years after the convicted killer was sentenced to life in prison without parole.
You are a natural evil killer. I thought that the devil did not exist until death put us in front.
And I welcome the day that I am told that you've been tortured and taken out for your cold-blooded, premeditated, calculated, heinous murders because you deserve no less.
On February 14, 2018, a then 19-year-old gunman opened fire at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. He was a former student who planned the shooting meticulously. About 20 minutes before the end of the school day, he entered the campus's Building 12 that held almost 1,000 students. Armed with an AR-15 and multiple magazines, he began opening fire. In all, 17 people were killed and 17 more injured.
I'm supposed to describe to you what that loss means to me. I don't know really how to do that. All you see now is a broken family. You have nothing to compare us to.
Jurors heard from the family members of the victims during a lengthy sentencing process back in 2022. The gunman pleaded guilty to all counts. 17 of premeditated first-degree murder and 17 more of attempted first-degree murder. Because of this plea, he was able to forego a traditional trial and went straight into a sentencing phase where a Broward County jury would decide his fate, the death penalty or life in prison. Ultimately, the jury agreed he was eligible for the death penalty, but couldn't come to a unanimous decision about whether it should be imposed. On November 2nd, 2022, he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
He is a murdering that should be made an example by being sentenced to death.
In the years following the massacre, Building 12 of Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School has remained untouched, housing blood-stained hallways and bullet holes in lockers. The building was completely blocked off so that future jurors could visit the school when it came time to decide the gunman's fate. They toured the school and crime scene during the sentencing phase back in 2022. When the sentence was imposed and evidence was no longer needed, it was decided the building would be torn down. Finally, on Friday, June 14th of this year, demolition began on the school. The excavator first knocked over the walls of teacher Scott Beagle's classroom, one of the victims in the shooting. Beagle's mother gave an emotional victim impact statement at the gunman's sentencing hearing.
In spite of your desire to kill as many students as possible, Scott, realizing that you were in the school and on a killing rampage, he did what he had to in order to save the lives of as many students as he could as possible. He managed to save 31 students before you killed him. This is my son, Scott. As far as I'm concerned, real justice would be done if every family here were given a bullet and your AR-15, and we got to pick straws. And each one of us got to shoot one at a time at you, making sure that you felt every bit of it and your fear continued to mount until the last family member who pulled that last straw had the privilege of making sure that they killed you. That's real justice for you. I wish for you prison justice, since that cannot happen. And I welcome the day that I am told that you've been tortured and taken out for your cold-blooded, premeditated, calculated, heinous murders because you deserve no less. Your notoriety is over today. You will no longer be anything but a number here. And I can tell you, I have never uttered your name, and I never will. To me, you'll always be the confessed, convicted Parkland murderer. I have one last request for the media And this is definitely something that I would really like to have you take to heart. All of the media, not just the people who are here, all the media. Do not give this animal the notoriety he craves. Out of respect for the 17 families whose loved ones were murdered by this animal, an animal that continues to show no remorse, please do not use his name in your reporting ever again. Please refer to him of who he is, the confessed, convicted Parkland mass murderer. Please bear with me for a little longer. Promise not like Mike, I promise.
Okay. It's okay.
To the state's trial attorneys, Michael Satz, Carolyn McCann, Jeff Marcus, Nicole Chiappone, Stephen Klinger, Aaron Sabitsky, as well as your entire staff, including the victims' advocates. When we first began this case, you answered all my questions, and I had so many questions. You explained to me that this is the perfect death penalty case because I was not aware of what the difference really was for the death penalty or life in prison without parole. Mr. Satz, you took the time and explained and promised me, you said, this is a very important case. The reason we go for the death penalty in this case is because you and your team wanted to make sure that it was not going to be just another mass shooting. You promised that the Parkland shooting case, every single one of our loved ones would be known by name, by face, who they were, their age. Nobody, if they ever heard Parkland again, would not know about every one of those loved ones that were murdered. You fulfilled your promise. For that, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. You kept your promise. The case that you all put on was flawless.
Many family members spoke directly to the defendants, giving impassioned speeches.
Now you, the defender, the killer. The defense said, we dehumanize you. It is far from reality. You are a natural evil killer. I thought that the devil did not exist until death put us in front in this path. You had in your head enjoyment. Listen to me, defender. Enjoyment. While killing my son.
He is a sociopath that does not deserve to live amongst us. This creature, that creature, has no redeemable value. And the other prisoners that you will encounter in your new life will inflict that pain upon you, hopefully 17 times over again, until you're screaming for mercy, just like your victims.
I think that one of the reasons that you did this, I'm talking to you right now, is to be famous. So I think that someone will steal that fame from you. Whoever takes care of you will own that fame. And someone will. You're going to die before me. And I will celebrate when you die. So if you were trying to be the cool guy, you're not. You're the worst. How does it feel? Nobody likes you. Sad.
You are the worst kind of animal. Contrary to the defense, one of the mitigating factors were you are a human being. Trust me, you are not. You are the lowest form of pond scum, and I apologize to pond scum for equating you with them. You are spineless and soulless monster.
Other family members expressed outrage that the defendant would not receive the death penalty.
Every single sick, twisted little freak hiding in their room, searching up things on the internet like mass shooter hype videos of mass shootings, police response times, etc., will now look at this case and say to themselves, all I have to do is claim mental illness and I can get away with it. An incredibly dangerous and ridiculous precedent that has been set here will affect the lives of children across the nation.
While this reality I now live in is an unfortunate truth, an even more unfortunate truth is that this country has forgotten who the victim is. The murderer is not a victim of drinking during pregnancy. He is not a victim of mental health issues. He is a murdering that should be made an example by being sentenced to death. He shouldn't live while my sister rots in a grave. The jury has failed the families, the victims, and me. Was this mass murderer a victim when he put the gun to my sister's chest and shot her? Was he a victim when he shot her again? Was he a victim when he shot her 2 more times on his second pass?
Throughout both the penalty phase and sentencing hearing, family members of victims described their loved ones and how the loss changed their lives forever.
It is the most devastating event when a parent outlives his or her own child. There isn't even a word for it in the English language, as though its unnatural, abnormal nature, indescribable, and unable to be named.
We will always hesitate before answering the question, how many kids do you have? There are no words to express how much we all miss Nick. The world is missing out not having Nick in it.
Happy times Luke and I shared at various places around Parkland are now shrouded by the painful realization that we will never return to those places together ever again. My life is now a series of these realizations. I hope they stop soon, and at the same time, I hope they never end. There is an end, though. Memories made with Luke have a clear end date, February 14th, 2018. I crave these memories, trying to etch each one into my brain, committing every detail to memory as best I can, while all at the same time, they haunt me. They keep me up at night. They stop me dead in my tracks at random times during the day, bringing me to tears. On the days I don't think about my brother, I feel guilty. On the days I do think about him, I feel broken. There is no peace. What causes me the most pain is not having Luke in the future, my future. I couldn't tell you what Luke would have become. I could speculate, of course, but what's the point? I'll never actually know. That's the hardest part of all this, really. The unknowns.
I lost my purpose in life that day. My job as a mom to Jamie was taken from me. I went from taking her to dance, going on lunch dates, shopping together, making sure she was fed, healthy, safe, and so much more, to doing nothing. All of our relationships in the house changed that very day, and we still work hard to repair the damage that this has caused. We will continue moving forward together in a life that is so drastically different, and one filled with sadness and trauma. Everyday things are difficult. Seeing her friends and classmates achieve milestones that she will never have the chance to achieve is excruciatingly difficult. Family get-togethers and holidays will always include a missing seat at the table, and the life of the party is no longer there, keeping everyone upbeat and laughing. There is togetherness, but there's no celebrating. There's a deafening silence amongst everyone, as they don't want to bring up Jamie's name to cause pain, but don't want to forget her either. Her elderly grandparents are there to partake, carrying the guilt, knowing that in a typical life, they should be gone long before her. Jamie's cousins struggle with losing her every day. One of her cousins, the same age as Jamie, was one of her best friends and is now at college without her, after years of planning that they would be going together. Her younger cousin struggled with coming to our home and stopped doing things with us because it was too painful without her. Our relationships with everyone has changed, including family, friends, and even strangers. Nobody knows the right words to say. Nobody knows how to act around us. No matter how close or far away they are, they live with the pain too, as our pain is their pain.
Others remembered their last moments before the shooting.
I drove Luke to school and dropped him off. That was the last time I saw him. It causes me pain to know that would be the last time I would tell him I love him, and the last time to hear his voice telling me he loved me. I'm so thankful for that moment. Losing my son, Luke, has caused me so much pain. Pain that I cannot even come close to describing. My pain continues. I will never see my sweet boy grow up. I had to walk across the stage to receive Luke's high school diploma, along with his sister Abby. There were no graduation pictures with Luke, no college acceptance letters, no prom pictures, no car trips to South Carolina for Christmas. Christmases are almost unbearable. I look at the pictures of our last family Christmas and still can't believe that was our last one with him.
My son is Luke Hoyer, and he was killed on February 14, 2018. The last conversation I had with Luke was on the morning he died. I was going to work, and he was upstairs getting ready for school. I yelled up, "Have a good day," and he said something like, "Okay, you too." That was it. I was out the door to work. I didn't even see him that morning. It was the kind of casual exchange you have when you think you have forever together. And then we didn't. I'm supposed to describe to you what that loss means to me. I don't know really how to do that. All you see now is a broken family. You have nothing to compare us to.
The demolition is expected to last for several weeks, but be completed by the time students return to campus for the 2024 school year. As of now, the Broward County School Board hasn't decided what the building will be replaced with. Reporting for Law&Crime, I'm Gillespie.